What's going on, Pokepiece? My name is Toxic101 and today we are back with a new series. Actually, this is a how-to battle, as you can see. There. I'm still shy at pointing at things when everything is mirrored. But what this series is going to be about is me kind of teaching you how to get a tiny bit better at Mons. So today's tip is actually going to be hopefully a rather short video, but this is what's going to happen is I'm going to tell you, okay, these are a couple options on how to identify your opponent's team, and that's what we're going to do. So looking at our opponent's team, he has a very peculiar team. We don't know what kind of Victini this is. We don't know what kind of Clefable, nor Mew, nor Breloom this is. So identifying your opponent's team is possible in three different ways, and I can broadcast them all in the exact same battle. So I'm just going to do the battle as I'd like it to go to be able to show you the methods of going. So that I want to show. So first off, we're going to identify the Breloom, right? Breloom can run a numerous kind of set, can run a lot of different kind of sets, usually like a Toxic Orb Set Punch, a Life Orb set, a Swords Dance set. So I don't want to stay in with Tornadus Therian, so I kind of want a U-turn, but looking at my Tornadus Therian, I don't have U-turn on this particular one. So I kind of have to hard switch. So my safest play is probably going to go into Ferrothorn as long as he doesn't set up. But if he does set up a Swords Dance, then we can go into Dragalge and wall him completely. So I'm just going to go into Ferrothorn right here, as he is going to make the safe play. He's going to deal with what's in front of him. He's going to click Rock Tomb. So by seeing that this guy went for Rock Tomb, he immediately reveals his entire set. So he led with it, indicating that it's a lead set. He went for Rock Tomb, revealing that he's gonna have his both stabs. He's gonna have Mach Punch and he's gonna have Bullet Seed. So he doesn't have Swords Dance plus Focus Sash. He has Rock Tomb as his third and last move for coverage because he wants to be able to beat Talonflame as long as his Sash is intact. So that's his Breloom spread. So basically, by seeing this move that's not as often run, the time that my opponent decided, well, this is actually me playing on a second screen, but you know what's going on. But he went for Rock Tomb. He led off with the Breloom. This basically identifies, okay, this is Sash lead Breloom. He's gonna have Spore, Mach Punch, Bullet Seed, and Rock Tomb. This is his entire Breloom set. It's max attack. It's max speed, max attack, and it's going to be more likely a Jolly instead of an Adamant Nature. So we have identified Breloom, and now we're just going to go into a situation where we want to identify the Clefable or the Victini. So I'm just going to click buttons until we go into a situation where we can identify the particular Mons. So basically we're in a position right now where he has sent out his Victini and I have my Hippowdon in right now. So how do I identify this Victini? So he decides to go, you know what, I'm just gonna go for U-turn. If his Victini is gonna go U-turn, and we're just gonna get up our safe rocks. So by seeing this U-turn damage, which 20.7%, so we got to keep that in mind. I already implemented my Hippowdon spread here. This is my exact Hippowdon spread, and we see that regular U-turn with no attacking investment. So we went with the max special offensive variant. So let's make this one Jolly. Doesn't really matter for Calic, but we're just gonna identify based on a U-turn. So we're just gonna go with max attack, right? But that's still not enough because this U-turn did 20.7%. So the only way we can actually get it that high is to mess around with items. We've seen, okay, it's not a Life Orb set. Expert Belt wouldn't boost it. So let's just try and go with a Choice Bandit set. So Choice Bandit is actually 17.3 to 20.7. So he did 20.7. So he got a max roll being choice banned. So we have identified the Victini right here. So let's say this guy is gonna go into his Crawdaunt right here. I'm just gonna get up my hazards. I'm just gonna switch my Galaxy as he Swords Dances. He's gonna take out so in is my Ferrothorn. We're at 100%. He's gonna knock as I'm just gonna try and get rid of this threat, or at least get some damage off on it. So we went up going Gyro Ball. This is great. We know what this Crawdaunt is. It's not Life Orb, so it's probably Lum. It doesn't even matter at this point. I'm just gonna sack my Ferrothorn. So at this point, okay, I'm just gonna send in Gyarados, and I just want to kill it. So I'm just gonna click Earthquake without Mega Evolving because I want to keep my Intimidate for later on. It doesn't really matter. He's just gonna go for Save Aqua Jet right here. Gonna do 27%. We take out Crawdaunt, right? And now the thing he's gonna switch into is his physically defensive Mon. Note that we have Stealth Rocks on the field right now. We have Stealth Rocks on the field. So this is the point. Okay, he's gonna go into his Clefable, and this is the point where we can identify our Clefable, because this is not an unaware stat. This is actually a Magikarp. So this is the third way actually of how to identify your opponent. So we've seen, okay, this Breloom had a peculiar move. He has something that only a specific set runs. So we identified Breloom. We identified Victini with the help of a calculator, with the damage calc. We've seen, okay, that is definitely choice banned Victini. And now we see Clefable come in. Clefable doesn't take Stealth Rock damage. So this is the third way of identifying your opponent's team. The damage I do to this Mew as soon as I actually pull the switch. So I'm gonna pull the switch right here. I don't get paralyzed. That's very fortunate. But we see that, okay, that does 30%, and we see that Sludge Wave, not Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave does at least a minimum of 33%. So this is definitely a max HP Mew, but he's also running Spadef Investment, and these things always run at least 108 speed. So we have identified that this is a Spadef Mew, and this Mew does, like, I do think it's like 152 or something. I have no idea. 150, I don't know. But so we have identified, okay, this is definitely a specially defensive Mew. The way he took that Sludge Wave that well, by just going one move and running a damage calc on this exact output. So now I'm just gonna go and broadcast, show you more situations that are more likely to occur than a Sludge Wave on a Mew. So this is going to be a situation where this guy definitely does not want to stay in with his Landorus Therian, especially because it's not a Choice Scarf set. I'm just going to give you that right now. We don't know anything about this, but this is more than likely his Rocker looking at his team. So we're in a good spot. Actually should have done this the other way around, but it doesn't really matter. I could still do that. So we're just going to click Scald right here, and he's going to switch into his Latios. So this is gonna happen. It does 30%. So now we can once more run a calc. We're just gonna go with Choice Specs Latios just to test the waters a bit, and we're just gonna go with Latios OU Life Orb. So this one is running a Choice Specs, and this is actually in range. So this is actually what the damage output said it would do. So we did 30% with the Scald. It's there. It's a rather low roll, but we're just gonna check. We have seen it's not a Life Orb variant. So we're just identifying Keldeo right here. So it's definitely a Choice Spec set because Choice Scarf definitely doesn't do that much damage, just 20 to 23. So we have identified this Keldeo. We already know it's specs because it's on our team, but let's say we are the Latios in this scenario. We know, okay, due to this calc, we can see this Keldeo is Choice Specs, and accordingly we can deal with the Keldeo in that specific manner. So let's state we're just pulling odd switches right here, bit arbitrary switches if you ask me, but my opponent, so we are in a situation right now where I'm in with Tyranitar and he's being in with Keldeo. So obviously I don't want to be in this situation, and I want to pull a switch into my Latios. this guy predicts me, and he's gonna go for an Icy Wind right here. So he's gonna go Icy Wind. It does about 50%. And this is the point once more where we are going to try and identify our Keldeo. So Icy Wind did 49.8. So we are running like a Choice Scarf one right now with the Calc, and that doesn't do enough. So he definitely has a boosting item. Could well be a Choice Specs. But what we see when we slap on a Choice Specs is that actually does a lot more than what it should do. So it has a different boosting item. So it's not running a it's not running a boosting item, but it's not running a Choice Specs either. So it's more than likely, so this Keldeo is either going to be like Icicle Play, which makes no sense, or we can run a Calc, and we're just gonna give it another item and give it an Expert Belt. And as we can see, Expert Belt, he got a bit of a high roll right there with the 50%, but that is actually very much possible. So this is exactly what happened. We have identified the Keldeo. Okay, it's not Scarf, it's not Spec. This is an Expert Belt variant, and we're going to deal with it accordingly. So there is just one more scenario I'd like to show you guys, and that is going to be the last scenario for this game on how to identify your opponent's team. Okay, so this is going to be the last scenario. So I do lead with my Keldeo, and he's going to lead with Landorus Therian. So the point is, my opponent does not know what kind of Keldeo I am. And I don't know what kind of Landorus he is. So he could possibly fear Scarf Keldeo if he is Scarf Landorus. So he is actually going to pull a switch. Let's say we double out right here. So I'm just gonna go in a Ferrothorn to try and get up. I don't have rocks on this one, but just to deal with these hits a tiny bit better. So I'm gonna switch, and he's going to switch. So he's going to go into his Manaphy, predicting that. As you can see, the Landorus switches out before my Keldeo does, meaning that this Landorus outspeed. So as soon as a Pokemon switches, as soon as you're both switching, so you're pulling a double, then the Mon that is faster is going to switch out first. We just saw that Landorus switched out first. You can even see it in the text chat. Socrates 101 withdrew Landorus Therian, and here Crest of Waves come back. So we have already seen turn 1, not a single move has been made, not a single attack has been clicked, but we already know that this Landorus Therian is faster than my Keldeo. So this Landorus Therian is a Choice Scarf set. That's the last thing I wanted to show you guys. These are all factors that you gotta keep in mind. So what we've seen thus far, I'm just gonna go over it one more time. We've identified the Breloom, the Focusage Rock Tombing Breloom, by seeing it go for a Rock Tomb, because only a specific Breloom set runs that. He didn't have a Toxicorp, he didn't have Swords Dance, because he had that Rock Tomb. We have identified Victini according to a Calc. We have identified Keldeo in the exact same manner. We have seen a Scarf set, we have seen a Spec set, we have seen how to identify a Expert Belt set, we have seen how to identify a Choice Scarf set, and then we've seen a Choice Bandit Victini due to the Calc we ran. It did 30%, no, it did 20% higher Powdon, which it shouldn't do if it's not Choice Bandit, max attack Choice Bandit. And then, last but not least, is we have identified this Landorus Therian without making any moves at all, by just seeing it switch out before our Keldeo did. Obviously, you just want to stay in with Keldeo, but just for the sake of the example right now, we have seen that this Landorus is Choice Scarf because it switched out before our Choice Specs Keldeo did. So that's gonna be it for today. Hope you've learned something out of this. Hope this will make you a better battler in general. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.